Have you experienced trauma in your life? Perhaps it was a specific event as a child or even as an adult, or it's ongoing, and you feel like you're going to therapy, you're even doing somatic practices, you're trying to do all of the right things, but you feel like it's very hard to keep pushing forward. You may feel disassociated or stuck or numb. Or you feel like you're procrastinating and it's just so hard. You know what you should be doing, but it's really hard to do. Well, today we're going to talk about some of the ways that you may be able to break through that. Hi, my name is Dr. Ariane Missimer. I'm a functional medicine practitioner, doctor of physical therapy, registered dietitian, mindfulness instructor, and I'm the owner of the Movement Paradigm Integrative Health Center. And this topic is really important to me for several reasons. But what I see in my clinic is that I'm seeing so many people that are really frustrated with themselves because they know what they should be doing, but they just can't do it. They're seeing a therapist. They've worked with lots of professionals, but they just don't have the capacity to continue to do the things that they need to do. And so, where I always like to start with is explaining that how trauma can affect us physically and physiologically. And so, when we get into a state where we feel like we are stuck, we feel like we're numb, we're overwhelmed, then, and this is what trauma can do when we keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and our body just can't take it anymore. So, we get so depleted that we have nothing left to give. And this is where I find it to be really important to look at it through this functional medicine lens. But quite frankly, even on a more basic level, is looking at it from a physical perspective. What do we need to do to nourish our body physically so that we can address the emotional component? For example, one of the things that I often start with when someone's experienced a lot of trauma and they're experiencing significant anxiety and depression, it might be as simple as water intake. So, if they are not drinking enough water throughout the day, and that would be our starting point, is to drink enough water. And the second layer to that is to truly hydrate, which means electrolytes, because we need water to get nutrients to our brain. So if we feel like we have brain fog all day and we're so overwhelmed with everything, but we're not getting enough water or hydration to our brain, the electrolytes are what's going to help get the water there, get nutrients to our brain, then we're going to be really depleted. So it's something that's easy enough that isn't super overwhelming with the right tactics and strategies to be able to integrate water. Second, maybe an electrolyte. Second is adding protein. So this is so critical in the formation of our neurotransmitters, such as dopamine, serotonin, GABA, which helps to decrease feelings of fear and anxiety. It helps with hormone health and the production of hormones. So it is so critical in that we have enough protein in our diet, along with many other nutrients, to have the proper production and even conversion of neurotransmitters and hormones. So, starting to get more protein in consistently not only does that, basically feeding our brain, but in addition to that, it's going to make you feel more satiated throughout the day so that you are not craving carbohydrates, sugary foods that are going to further dysregulate your blood sugar. So it's something that's going to make you feel satiated and feel like you have consistent energy levels throughout the day. So then we might do this at a very slow pace, by the way. So we're talking one little thing, the next little thing. And then I like to work on meal timing. Now, this might look very different for each person. And this is very individualized. But generally speaking, I really encourage in this situation about eating every 3 to 4 hours so that you don't have any specific blood sugar crashes, which creates another stress on your system that your body can't handle. Right. So, if you're listening to this or and love someone that's gone through something, that it's really hard for them to take on any more stressors in their body because their nervous system isn't able to regulate that. So we want to think of this resilient zone where we might be bumped out too high, we might be hyper vigilant, we could be bumped out too low, but ultimately we want to come back to that resilient zone. But when we're dealing with so much of this, it's really hard to be there. So any little thing can bump us out, like not having enough water or protein or food. So in this case, having adequate timing, 3 to 4 hours between meals, consistent balanced meals is really important. When those things are met, then I like to really look at nutrients as a whole to be able to look a lot more in depth about what are the things that are going to make you feel great, that are going to help you thrive, because our nutrition is affecting every ounce of our biochemistry and how we are functioning. And not just are we surviving, but hopefully moving towards thriving. And so when you can start to see the influence of how food is going to affect everything from mood and energy levels to your performance to whatever it might be, everything, then you can start to appreciate that we can begin to build the body back up. We can begin to allow its innate capacity to heal really persist, right? We can see how it can really affect us if we begin to feed it what it needs to. So once these basic requirements are met and we start to work systematically in terms of little bit at a time, then your body starts to feel better. Then you have better input to your brain, because so much of the way that we are operating is sensory information. So now we have better sensory information from our organs. So that means more interoception or improved awareness of self. And now it may be much easier to relate to your therapist and be able to talk through things. You may be in a much better place to use all of the different strategies that you've already used in the past, but now hopefully they can become a little bit more impactful. And then when there's the time and the place, you can really dive a little bit deeper and looking at different things like inflammation and so on. But really, it's important to start with the basics. And that was really the main point of what I want to talk about today, because I've seen it over and over in my practice. And hopefully you'll have the opportunity to look at a lot of the vagus nerves and some somatic exercises that are on our channel, and you can see how much of an impact they have on giving us a more regulated nervous system state. And so I don't want to forget that part of it. But for today's video, I wanted to talk about really repleting physically so that you are able and you have the capacity to address some of the emotional aspects of your health. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, give it a like, give it a share, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Movement Paradigm, for weekly tips on mindset, nutrition, and movement. You can always join us in our app, the Movement Paradigm app. We have lots of challenges every other month, everything from movement, nervous system, nutrition, and so on. And we have a great community of people. And you can also reach out to us for an individual appointment as it relates to physical pain that you might be having, any emotional issues that you're dealing with, such as anxiety or depression. You really want to get to the root cause. Please reach out to us. Thank you so much. Have a great day.